Hello, I'm Lieutenant Craig Smith with the Austin Police Department, here to provide a briefing on the critical incident that occurred on February 10, 2021, when two Austin Police Department officers were involved in a critical incident in Northeast Austin. Transparency and accountability are key to our ability to serve the Austin community, so we will provide an account of this incident and additional context to help you understand the chain of events. This incident involved two officers from the Austin Police Department, Officer Jeffrey Hutchinson and Officer Ryan Nichols. During this incident, Mr. Jordan Walton was shot by Officer Nichols and died as a result of his injury. Officer Hutchinson, Officer Castanway, and a child hostage all suffered minor injuries. The first shooting involved Officer Jeffrey Hutchinson firing his department-issued pistol. Officer Hutchinson was one of the first officers who responded to the scene. Officer Hutchinson did not hit anyone with the shots he fired. The second shooting involved Officer Ryan Nichols, who responded to this scene as part of the Austin Police Department's SWAT team. Officer Ryan Nichols shot and killed Mr. Walton. Both shootings will be presented together in this video, and each officer will be investigated individually for their respective uses of force. On February 10, 2021, phone calls were placed to Austin 911 Communications regarding an incident occurring at 2907 Rogge Lane. Austin 911 received the first call at 5:18 p.m. The caller reported that a black Jeep crashed into the residence at the corner of Manor Road and Rogge Lane. Austin 911 received the second call at 5:21 p.m. The second caller, an adult female victim, said someone had broken into her house by breaking and climbing through a window. This second caller provided a location near the vehicle crash reported in the first 911 call. This second caller spoke to the dispatcher in Spanish.
¿Está diciendo que hay alguien en su hogar, señora?
Se metió, sí, rompió la ventana de mi casa, se metió, por favor. No sé, estoy aterrada aquí en mi cuarto porque él tocó la puerta y yo como pude la logré cerrar, pero no sé si anda armado o algo. Hay un niño en la sala, por favor. Tengo miedo de salir de mi cuarto, manden a alguien, por favor.
Yes, somebody there's a man who broke the window of the house and they got into the room. I'm in the room. They touched the door, but I have it closed. I don't know if they're armed.
Officers Castanway, Hutchinson, and Lutke were the initial officers who arrived on scene to the second caller's location and met at the front door of the residence at 2907 Rogge Lane. They arrived between 5:23 and 5:25 p.m. The officers wore Austin Police Department issued uniforms with protective vests and patches reading the word police. The officers knocked on the door and announced themselves as Austin Police. Officers said they could hear a crying female voice inside the residence along with a male voice. At 5:27 p.m., the officers kicked the front door of this residence multiple times and the door opened. Officer Castanway entered the residence first, followed by Officer Hutchinson. Officer Lutke remained outside the residence. Officers Castanway and Hutchinson were immediately met by gunfire from Mr. Jordan Walton as they entered the residence. Officer Castanway's holster was struck by one bullet. Officer Hutchinson returned gunfire. His shots did not strike Mr. Walton or anyone else. Officer Hutchinson was struck in the face with a bullet fragment. Officer Hutchinson exited the residence through the front door. Officer Castanway ran across a room inside the residence out of the path of gunfire and remained inside the residence. Officer Hutchinson immediately called over the police radio that shots were fired. Officer Lutke called out to Officer Castanway, who was trapped inside the residence, to find out if he was injured. In response, the female resident began screaming, and Mr. Walton said to the officers that he would kill her if they entered the residence. Officer Hutchinson called over the police radio there was a hostage situation. At 5:28 p.m., Officer Castanway exited the residence.
9-7.
They start getting out of control, we're going in. Where we can hear talking inside the residence. Start calling male or female. Hear male voice.
I can hear female in there. He's probably got her. I can hear. There's a female in there. She's crying. He's probably in the bedroom with her. Yeah. Go.
Austin police!
Yeah. I'm going to kick it.
Go lethal and we'll switch.
Kick it. You want me to do it?
We're forcing entry.
Austin police! .404, shots fired, shots fired.
You good in there? You good in there? Police department! Is somebody shot?
404, we got a hostage situation. I can hear him saying if we come in, he's gonna kill her.
Hey, don't need long gun? Yeah. Hey, I only got shotgun, that good? Alright, hey, I'll do that. That was another broken window. I was having, I hear voices talking inside. We can get units to me 1018. Voices right there. Hey, if they start getting out of control, we're going in. 507 clear. We can hear talking inside the residence. Is our caller male or female? Clear, I'm hearing a male voice.
He's probably got her. I can hear. There's a female. She's crying. He's probably in the bedroom with her. Yeah.
Austin police! We're just gonna break it.
Yeah. Bring the kitty.
Go lethal and then we'll switch. So we're forcing entry.
Austin police! Go there for shot fire, shot fire.
You got in there? I'm coming to you. Coming to you.
Get in there! Police department! Somebody shot!
You hear him saying, if you come in, he's gonna kill her.
Hey, distract him over there.
At 5:40 p.m., SWAT was contacted to respond to the scene. Officer Castanway announced over the police radio that Mr. Walton was holding a child hostage and was making the child tell officers to come inside. At 5:45 p.m., Mr. Walton opened the door to the residence and used the child hostage as a shield, then went back inside. At 5:50 p.m., Mr. Walton came back outside with the crying child hostage in front of him and went back inside the residence. At 6 p.m., Mr. Walton exited the residence 2 more times, shouting if officers left, he would not hurt the child, and he did not want to hurt the child. At 6:05 p.m., Mr. Walton called 911 and began speaking with a dispatcher. At 6:05 p.m., SWAT Officer Nichols arrived on scene and set up his rifle on the east side of the residence. At 6:15 p.m., Mr. Walton again exited the residence, while positioning the child in front of him as a shield. At this time, Officer Nichols discharged his rifle and announced over the police radio that a shot had been taken and the suspect was down.
All right, so you shot at officers every time you guys. Some sort of rifle.
Some sort of automatic, you can't tell.
But they thought it was automatic.
Like full auto, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And this came in as a burglary call from a homeowner.
He's come out 3 or 4 times with the kid, but keeps going back inside.
All right.
At one point, he had the kid in front of the doorway on his knees, asking us to leave.
There he is.
Movement. He's coming out. One hand up in the
Got the
air.
kid.
Got the kid. One hand is up in the air. He's down.
Alpha 1, shot taken, suspect is down.
The SWAT team entered the residence and safely evacuated the child hostage. Officers located the adult female hiding inside the residence. The adult female was also brought to safety. At 6:25 p.m., Mr. Walton was pronounced deceased on scene. A firearm was located on scene. Austin Fire Department and EMS were on scene near the residence and entered once it was safe to do so. The child victim, Officer Hutchinson, and Officer Castanway sustained minor injuries due to the incident. The adult female victim was not physically injured during the incident. An internal investigation is being conducted by APD's Internal Affairs Unit with monitoring from the Office of Police Oversight. Also, a criminal investigation is being conducted by APD's Special Investigations Unit and the Travis County District Attorney's Office. At the time of the incident, Officer Jeffrey Hutchinson had been with the department for 8 years and was assigned to Region 1 Patrol Division. Officer Ryan Nichols had been with the department for 13 years and was assigned to the SWAT Division. Per APD policy, both officers have been assigned to administrative duty. To learn more, visit our website.